Hi, guys. This is Jean Holden, producer of the show. And I just wanted to take a minute to let you know where you can find us on the internet. Please go to ThatMan on Fatman.com. There you can find out all the things you need to know about the show. You'll be able to find links to the podcast, to YouTube, to Twitter, Facebook, even Instagram and Snapchat. Thank you so much for listening, guys, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Today's show is brought to you by Death Wish Coffee. Death Wish Coffee, the strongest coffee in the world.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and I want to urge you to make a generous donation to the Wayne Foundation so we can stop the sexual trafficking of children. Do it, or I'll find you.
And don't forget to check out our good friend of the show, Mark Live, over at chundertunes.com for all your podcast animation needs. ThatMan on Fatman is recorded with a Zoom H6 handy recorder. Zoom for creators.
Disclaimer. The show you're about to experience is for entertainment purposes only. The hosts use mature language and conversation just like in most of life. If you're too uptight, this might not be for you. All that said, we really do hope you enjoy the show. But if you don't enjoy it, expect a nice big shipment of my joyous Joker juice on your doorstep in the very near future. Toodles!
Yes, please note that use of all sound effects is done ironically.
Ooh-ah. You are listening to ThatMan on Fatman with Scott and Jean Holden, and they, trust me, have a great ass.
The second Y is sent in by
ThatMan on Fatman.
Oh, right on. Scott Holden.
Scott Holden, yep.
And what does Scott want?
Call me Scott because I'm Holden.
As the world's biggest Kevin Smith fan, I appreciate the fact that somebody finally made a podcast about that interesting motherfucker. So, yes, you absolutely did the right thing.
Okay, what has two thumbs and is a huge fan of Kevin Smith? ThatMan!
Scott, who does ThatMan on Fatman podcast.
Yeah.
Ooh-ah.
Well, once upon a time, just a regular man read a book written by the Fat Man. Tough shit written by old Kev Smith.
Ooh-ah. ThatMan on Fatman.
Kev said go out and start a podcast, and so I did, and I had a real blast. But my obsession was driving my co-host nuts.
Who is he? He's that man. He's talking.
Didn't want to bring the podcast down. Needed Porkchop Murphy to hang around.
Go get him, that man.
So I created a show with one heck of a plan, and I call that show ThatMan on Fatman.
ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
ThatMan on Fatman. ThatMan on Fatman.
Go get him, that man.
We're gonna talk about Kevin Smith.
Go get him, that man.
Hey, why, everybody. And welcome to this episode 5-10. Yes, this is 5-10. I'm sorry about last week. I jumped the gun. You know how guys do that. We go premature. I prematurely decaded. That's right. Welcome to 5-10 of ThatMan on Fatman. In the studio with me is none other than co-host extraordinary and producer Jean Holden.
Well, hi, guys.
Yay. We're running a little different audio mix today just because I was rewiring again. Rewiring the studio.
We have the Janet Jackson setup. I always like it.
Yeah, so we're using our broadcast headphones. Actually, you know what? Do you have your phone?
I do. I was going to take a picture.
You can take a picture? I'll do a quick Facebook Live just to give the folks at home an idea of what it looks like. Blah, blah, blah. Hang on. Maybe I'll even make a mark so we won't bore the audience. Hey, why, everybody. And welcome to this episode 5-10. Yes, this is 5-10. I'm sorry about last week. I jumped the gun. You know how guys do that. We go premature. I prematurely decaded. That's right. Welcome to 5-10 of ThatMan on Fatman. In the studio with me is none other than co-host extraordinaire and producer Gene Holden.
Well, hi, guys.
Yay. We're running a little different audio mix today just because I was rewiring again. Rewiring the studio.
We have the Janet Jackson setup. I always like it.
Yeah, so we're using our broadcast headphones. Actually, you know what? Do you have your phone?
I do. I was going to take a picture.
You can take a picture? I'll do a quick Facebook Live just to give the folks at home an idea of what it looks like. And there we go. So I just dropped a little goofy video showing me in the headsets. And you've probably taken pictures and posted them now.
No, I haven't posted them yet.
No. So all of social media will have seen them by the time the show drops. So did you have a good day today?
It's a really good day.
It was a really fun day. First of all, you are sunburned. I don't know if you know that.
On my face?
Yeah, you're red.
I'm glad.
I got color on my face, too.
I felt we were outside for a very long time.
I know, that's why I get wacky.
Right.
We sound like old people. Just, oh, look, I got color.
I know.
But
I don't know how to add more than one picture together on Twitter.
I don't know either, but right now, so let's...
So I'm going to wait, and then we'll do it
Yeah, we'll
after.
do it after the show, yeah.
We'll do it after.
Because guess what? People don't even know that we're recording right now because we don't do it live.
No, we don't.
So, folks, ladies and gentlemen, now, I want to preface what I'm about to say, some of this about what to say, because I'm just a big Kevin Smith merchandise collector.
Yes.
There would be no
View Askew universe.
Yeah, and it's because I have this obsession with completism, and only that.
There is
that I would feel the need
right.
to purchase some of these newer Kevin Smith licensed items.
We did splurge.
Yes, we splurge
because sometimes
some things are artwork.
Okay, well now
some things are practical.
We need to always remember. We're always important, but
yes.
sometimes we need to kind of gift ourselves.
And also timing was right for some of these,
and
too.
The timing was right.
It's odd. And
it was Kevin Day, and we always like to support Kevin.
Yes.
Even though we're fortunate enough to be given
gifts. What? We're jumping ahead of ourselves already.
Sometimes.
So, folks, welcome to 5-10.
Yes.
And we originally, this is unscheduled as formatted because, we feel like, didn't we just kind of do this?
Right.
But we were so excited about such a great day and a lot of cool stuff happened that we're like, you know what? Fuck it. We'll do another one now because it's worth it. And Kevin's in town and there's no reason not to.
It's a very Kevin Smith
filled
day.
While we're going to share today with you, which was a very good and cool filled day. Also, towards the end of the show, you'll hear about our Sunday because we'll do the same thing then.
We actually have a couple of things. We have Bob Hawk. We're meeting Bob Hawk and Kevin tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. So today was Funko Pop Kevin Smith Day, essentially, at the Secret Stash in Red Bank, New Jersey. And so for 250 lucky people.
Okay, can I say something?
Yes?
I did not know about the number.
Yeah.
That freaked me out when we got there.
Yeah, because I know,
do it slowly,
in the past when they were doing, say, TV,
right?
They really, 3,000, okay, that's fine, whatever. Large numbers were not a problem because they were going to shoot it. And large numbers look better on TV anyway.
Well, the numbers was the point of the whole thing.
Yeah, and serving donuts and blah, 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 blah.
This went on and on.
Oh, yeah, and also, yes, if you're trying to break a record, it really does help to have a lot of people.
But in this instance, seriously, no.
Seriously?
Well,
Isn't that character from Game of
Cersei.
Thrones?
Well, I love her too, but seriously.
Seriously.
You cannot have an...
I am so seriously.
I am so seriously.
You have to say that from now on.
I am so seriously. You can't have an unlimited amount of people because we'd be there till midnight or
Correct.
3 in the morning.
Okay.
Because he's so generous.
Yeah. So there was a cap on 250, which we didn't. Yeah, Gene and I found out only like midway through the day of waiting.
Okay, can I tell him how that happened?
Okay, just now before we preface, now we are huge fans, and so we have to explain why we're there late. And very simply, I have dry socket in a tooth that was yanked, and it hurt like a motherfucker, and so I had to go to the dentist first thing in the morning and had that sucker packed off with some sort of medicated pad.
Yeah.
And he did not open until 9, so there was no way we were getting there until that was done.
And what a cool dude, because he really did make you feel better.
Yes.
Right?
So, yeah. Anyway,
for the day.
I like this guy.
Yeah, he's a cool
There's
guy.
something about him, and it's not, everyone's going to go, oh, it's because he's Asian, you're making a stereotype. But that's not true. But there is something about him, while he is Asian, that also reminds me of the doctor from fucking Knocked Up.
Oh, my God, it does. But
but
can I tell you, though?
He's not as mean, he has this weird sort of like out of left field, like, it's sort of like not recycle. Like I just get he has no problem blurting things out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not that they're bad, but, it's sort of like bedside manner is a little soft or a little missing.
Right. Well, he's just like kind of like chill. Like he's not.
Yeah. And again, very blurty.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got that done.
Doctor in Knocked Up is like at the moment now, like doing stand up and stuff. And
he's
very,
good.
he's in a lot of things recently.
Yes.
But he's very smart.
I don't know his name off the top of my head, so please forgive me on that.
He's really funny.
But everyone out there who knows what I'm talking about, you have a vision in your head.
Yes.
And really, right from there, you're not far.
Right.
So I got packed off, and he sent me and we sent our way.
Yeah.
So
we drove to Red Bank. It took about an hour.
Yeah, and so when we were literally up the street from the secret stash, Jean, picked up the cell phone, called. She got Walter, correct?
I called Walter. Now, I didn't know it was going to be Walter.
You called the stash.
I called the stash, and I called Walter. And Walter said, I asked him that, okay, well, we need tickets, right? And he said, you got to come now because there's about 50 left.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know what that meant, but I totally got freaked out.
So
I'm like, hurry up.
The good news was that I was right. I mean, we had to make a left and drive like 100 yards.
Right, and then he dropped me off.
Yeah, and
then
I went to go fucking
And
park.
then I went like kind of close to the door of the stash to get in. And someone said around the corner. And Ed McGeever's right there.
Yes,
Ed McGeever is Ernie O'Donnell's friend. He's a part of the film production crew.
And he's just a good guy.
He's a super cool dude. So I was like, oh my God, he must be him. So he gave us 2 tickets.
He was working for the stash, basically doing security.
Right. Guys, we were 195, 196 at a 250.
Yes. And we didn't know it was we didn't know it was 250, so yeah.
And I didn't know that. And
so
it freaked me out
we
more
got
now.
there really late, so we're really in the back of the line.
So happy we made it though.
But
because we might not have gotten it at all.
Amen to both.
Thank you.
And here's another cool thing about being late in the line. Well, I brought a shit ton of stickers because recently,
it was
folks,
so successful.
we had a full shit ton printed.
Yeah.
So we have a lot.
They're so pretty.
And I hated in the past, they're better than cards. Because
they are, and they have your
like
smart and good on it. And
yes, I like the fact. I like the little more humbleness to them.
And everybody loves the Kevin pictures because they're just so
So essentially,
little caricatures.
If there was 250 people online, I must have gave away 200 stickers today.
Yeah. But it felt good because everybody you look in bags and you see a little sticker.
Oh yeah, but wait, there's more.
There's more cool stuff.
As a matter of fact, I'm going to jump ahead on a spoiler.
Yes.
Okay. So we're just going to jump ahead to waiting on that long line all afternoon.
Oh, my God, guys. It was like
meeting
8 hours.
people, talking
like
with
a full
people.
work day.
Then, of course, satelliting out, coffee run, coffee and pizza. at some points.
Yeah,
And
the pizza was damn good.
Also getting to know the people around us, which is always fun because most of the people are Kevin Smith fans. And breaking off, like Ernie O'Donnell, came by.
Yeah. Cousin Johnny.
Cousin Johnny.
Cousin Johnny's mom.
Yeah, Cousin Johnny's mom.
Oh, my God. That was so great.
Who else? What's his name? God. Gavin?
Gavin was there.
Oh, and a big real surprise. And I saw him the first time and did the whole, wait a minute. I know you, but you're not here.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, like trying to put two and two.
Right.
And it was fucking Quigley.
And Quigley was here?
Jeff Quigley was there, because I don't know that I ever met him in person.
Yeah.
Maybe I have, but
And we saw Elena, too. Our friend
Yeah, we saw Elena, of course. Yes, yes. She was having a good old time.
Well, she was here. I think she stayed overnight.
Yeah. And I wonder where she stayed overnight. Maybe
I don't know if you
Maybe
can.
she stayed with Brian Johnson. Maybe she crashed on his couch or something.
Hey, you know what? That would be great, because then she doesn't have to take the train from the city. All of that's a mess. If you can stay overnight, it's great.
Okay, so we went on the line. The way it worked was this way. You need to have a Funko Pop, because it was a Funko Pop event. So there was a specific one, and that is the Secret Stash Kevin Smith.
Mm-hmm. And you needed to buy it at the stash.
Yeah, you need to buy it at the stash.
At least one.
Yes.
Per
It's,
person.
like your 2-drink minimum in a comedy club, this was your 1 pop minimum
right.
for the Kevin event, which was essentially a free event. But hey,
really
$15.
Was.
And
is
you
that
got
how much it was?
Or whatever the pop.
About that. Yeah, I don't remember.
And
it's
you
crazy.
essentially got to meet Kevin.
I know.
And now originally there was talk that there's no pictures.
Well, originally Michael came out.
Uh-huh.
And he was in charge of, just announcing how everything was going to go.
Yeah.
So when we first got online, Ed, kind of filled us in. But then Michael came in and said that there will be no pictures. You can, though, take a picture of Kevin signing your stuff, but it won't be a selfie.
So odd.
But the thing is,
I don't know where he got that direction from.
And
that's
I don't
just
know,
weird.
but I think they're trying to move it along.
Yeah, I think that was the other thing.
Because Kevin spent so much time. Even with us, we'll talk about it later. But
you know what?
He spent time with us, but we didn't require a lot.
Kevin's a pro. Well, we don't require, but also Kevin is a pro. If the whole I see the strings.
I know.
I haven't seen the strings with that because he's doing a certain, and I'm not saying that in a mean way, but he has a process now, and you have to, or you go mad doing that.
And he hopes that the people that he's talking to kind of get the event, and know that there's a certain kind of amount of time that you can kind of, get it.
You may hear our cat. I don't know. It's very strange to pick him up on these mics.
Yeah, you can kind of gauge how much time he has because there's a lot of people outside, so you don't want to glom on.
And also, I have to say, you and I are at the point now where we love Kevin and we love spending time with him, but an event like that, we know it's not about us.
Right.
Get the missions, if it's to get things signed or whatever.
Signed.
Yeah.
But
then
there was someone
you get out.
there that we saw too.
But hang on, we're getting crazy.
God, I know.
So let me finish the story about the stickers.
Yes. This cat's crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know either. So earlier, like I said, we'd given about 200 stickers out, and I was down to 10 that I wanted to hold in my hand just in case, So we get in, there is only essentially 55 people behind us at that point.
Probably about. I don't know where you get that number, but
because we were 196, right?
Oh, that's right.
195.
I'm sorry. Yes.
We were 195, and it was 50.
Absolutely,
there was 250, so that means
150.
there was 55 people, and any hangers around or
people,
yeah. So
I think that he did sign something for people that weren't able to get in, or something like that.
There was it's weird because there was also a shopping door thing going on, but they velvet roped it.
It was free comic day too today.
Yeah, so they velvet roped the back.
Right.
But people were going into the stash, but it was very limited, like they were letting in groups of 5 or anything.
Right.
Okay, so again, first you have to buy the pop. So
this specific pop you had to buy.
And you have to essentially. How did you get the ticket? You went in and grabbed the ticket, right? Because
this is what happened.
I dropped you off.
When I got dropped off, we basically went online, and online Ed gave us the ticket.
Oh, Ed McGeever.
Yeah, so basically he was following people along the line, making sure they had a ticket.
Yeah.
And we were 195 and 96, and that went so on and so on. It's okay, 250.
Gotcha.
So
I
we
didn't
were
realize that we were 95 and 96. It's not like we were 95 as a couple.
No, we were towards the end
so
of it. We were really close.
Yeah, exactly.
We close. And I didn't
like you
check,
said, we called, and Walter's like, "There's only 50 left."
I'm like, check everybody before you go. I didn't even fucking check, guys. Stupid fuck.
We just,
but
again, it was the whole dentist thing because we were up at 7:30 or some shit, ready to go.
But I gave myself a lot of anxiety for no reason. Like it should have been.
It always seems to flow somehow.
It does. With Kevin, it's sure like going to be a long day.
Yeah. Well, it was.
But
it was an 8-hour day because it was like 9 to 5.
It was
but anyway, all right, hang on, we're jumping ahead.
Full work day.
So, all right. But again, good opportunity to meet people, give out stickers and that kind of shit, and it was fun. And like people, it's also interesting to me when I give out the stickers. Like some people, they genuinely feel they've either heard the show or know the show. And you know what? I take that. I say genuinely feel because sometimes I just think that they may be getting confused with Kevin's show.
Right. And when we say this is our show, it's a Kevin.
And I try and make it gracious.
Fan show, that man of Fatman. Like,
yeah.
But I mean, just
but
they
hey,
still love the sticker because it's a great sticker. It's
here you
nice
go.
size.
Yeah. Okay. So All right. We get into the store. Now, I didn't know. I had no specific designs on buying anything.
Right.
Until I look in this, where there's always something. It's a little glass case, kind of mid-store, and it's off a pylon kind of thing, or it's off a column.
Right.
And in there, and we've been talking about them on the last few shows, are the glass works that Kevin Smith, that have been licensed.
Now, did you know that they were there?
No, not at all. I almost thought that would be the last place that they would be.
Especially
because of, they are for tobacco use only.
Of the legality.
Yeah.
It's basically.
Well, because they're a, such a weird.
I really thought it was only at like the website where they make them that you could buy them.
I would have thought so as well.
But good for Kevin for getting them too.
Well, yes and no. Yeah, I agree. But I can also, in some weird way, see like a Michael Zapsik thought of, wow, that's smoking, and it's a comic book store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I get it. I get all of the different
That's a
views
very
about
simple moral.
Well, and it's a
I
business.
can get that.
It's a business. I get it. And it's.
But therein, I would say.
But it's also Kevin based.
The difference is exactly that. However, that said, yes, it's also a Kevin Smith.
Right. And for him, it's not. There's nothing. There's nothing
it's
wrong
in the
with
wheelhouse.
It.
He's.
It's very.
It may not. It's so funny. His fans are way ahead of his crew, and the people, you know what I mean? Those are the more,
right?
Like those are the ones who are like, I hope Kevin's gonna be okay with all this stuff. Oh
yeah, I know.
God bless them. I love them all. So.
I know, but they're just like they're stiff more. They're just
they're
more grown up. I mean,
they're
I don't
Jersey
say grown
boys
up, but they're more
and
like
girls,
adults. You know what I mean? I mean, Kevin's a grown up, but he's not. He's more of.
Sorry for the mic handling, folks.
He understands, pot for him is something that,
is
medicinal. Stirs his mind.
Yes,
it gets him going. It saved his life.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So.
Most recently. Again, and that's probably another reason why this signing was so.
Yeah.
Because I did hear a few people, as you go by, that who've said, I was going to go to this, but I didn't, and finally, I made sure I had to be here after his last thing.
Yeah.
It was sort of that. I don't want to.
And there were a lot of people that went today because tomorrow is the.
It's the Atlantic Highlands.
And they weren't able to get tickets.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping he was able to do 2 nights, but I guess not.
So there in the center of the case was these weird merchandise items, which, like I said, is glassworks.
Yes.
Some sort of tobacco water pipe.
Well, and they're in a locked case, so you need to go to the front of the
But
stash.
they're very pretty, and so
they're
in my completest, sort of drive, I had to capture, these most exquisite sculptures.
And blurt out what?
Yes, and also for my cooking needs, I felt like, I needed a good herb grinder for, like various herbs and spices that we get out of our garden. Yeah, parsley and
basil.
And so they're making a great new herb grinder, and it's a 3 It's actually 4. It's a 3 and 4. And I've had a few, because of my cooking needs. I've had a few of these in my time, and I have to say, the only thing that people out there may shit on is the fact that it's aluminum, and there's just people that hate aluminum. But
what's wrong with aluminum? It's cheap.
Yeah.
What should it be, though?
I think really what diehards feel is that, little aluminum shards over time may get in things.
So what should they be? Stainless
steel?
Well,
stainless steel is
preferred
for everything.
And of course, more expensive, I would think.
I'm not. I don't know. These are looking like aluminum, but they're fine. I still think this is a very quality put together herb grinder for grinding up my parsley. And I tell you, the parsley smells really
for the tomato sauce.
And then what I really like also is they take a 3-chamber and turn it into a 4th chamber by adding a screen that also kind of has a cylinder around it that makes it slide in and slide out. So a couple things. One, if you need to replace it, you'll probably be able to get that piece. It also looks like you may be able to replace the screen itself because of here I am selling. I'm doing the upselling.
I'm not even taking a picture.
God, I should be. Kevin, pay me for that.
No,
I'm advertising. I'm kidding.
Hey.
No, but what I'm saying ultimately is
it's really nice
for what it is. It's quality. Yeah, like you won't regret it.
The bong is nice quality too.
No, the sculpture water device.
Oh, sorry.
That is now for holding jelly beans, just like in that show, The Facts of Life.
What?
You take the good, you take the bad, you take the good, you take the bad,
guys.
you take the good, you take the bad.
Ever since I met Scott, that has been the song that is the song, right? Isn't it?
Brain. Anyway, so that's
use your own words.
So now housing jelly beans is
Ooh,
but
jelly bellies.
But you had to get it because it had Blunt Man and Chronic on it.
I know,
so,
and it's like so flipping cool, and like when you have it. It's cool to spend it because we don't always have it. So
and
it's like you can save it, but we do that too.
And
but it's fun just to spend
we do. We'll pull the belt in so that we can do these splurges now.
I said on the way home. It's like, oh my god,
we're
so bad today.
She didn't even have to say it. I was like, yes, I know.
You already knew, but
we're done.
So,
and we both also knew that the reason we did it was because
I know.
This is one of those moments where it's like, holy shit, and that was like you said before. I can't believe it's there.
I know.
So
and we also
get it while you can physically get because you're ordering for Amsterdam or where the fuck hey, Jamaica, we're sending it to you.
It's true. We just got it right there.
You get wait 8 months to get your fucking product.
I was like blown away that they had them. That's why I was like, okay, we'll get it.
Yeah, me too.
And we also got a signed yoga hose.
It was so funny working with Walter to get it because he has a bit of an uncomfortability about it all.
Well, I think
and the cluelessness.
But listen to what I'm saying. You were very blurty about the bong thing, and I think it was
apparently
not the bong, but that's not what you're supposed to call it.
Back up.
You didn't know.
Yeah, and we should probably stop using the word on the show, although the cat's out of the bag now. But
that's fine.
Again, the only reason we're collecting this stuff is for jelly beans. And anyway, once they store jelly beans, they're wonderful to look at, and
they really are.
Yeah,
sparkly.
They're all over the walls. We have 50 bazillion of them. No, we don't. But anyway. It's a Kevin Smith thing, and it's now will be somewhere on display. Great looking box too.
It is. I'm gonna take a picture.
I'm going to because I love
it's too far away, though.
The Chronic.
I know, Jay.
Yeah, is that Chronic?
That's Chronic.
I get confused sometimes. Which one's Blunt Man? Which one's Chronic?
Yeah.
So basically Jay and his white diapers. So white and red diapers. But Snoochie Boochies.
Snoochie Boochies.
Yes. So anyway, I've gone far afield.
Yes. I've never heard that term before.
Essentially, I wanted to
far afield.
Give you an idea of what we had, what the items we purchased while in the store. Because, hey, there's no reason that Kevin Smith cannot sign these objects.
It was a mishmash of things.
Yes. Well, we had the pops. Now we had the kitchen herb grinder for your parsley. And the sculpture for your jelly beans.
Correct.
Yes. The glass sculpture for your jelly beans.
Right. And we bought a few other things too that weren't signed. Like we got a couple of the clerks' hats, and we got we got a signed Yoga Hoser vinyl. It was really cool with the Colleens in the front. It was very cute. For our daughter.
Jean had to get it for her daughter.
Of course.
Yes. And she
I think about them everywhere.
Will completely love it.
I know.
Because she is.
Because she collects them.
Vinyl, man. She's 17 and knows vinyl is the center of the world.
Yes. There's some really good ones out there. They're expensive, too.
So funny. So, yeah. We didn't go crazy, but,
No, it was enough.
Yeah.
A
couple.
It was a couple.
All right. So, anyway. Some people say there's a lot, but, you get the idea. And that's not specifics anyway. So, blah, 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 blah. They were schmeckles.
There were a lot of schmeckles.
What was the other word?
I know it's Rick and Morty, and it's fucked up.
We are. The other thing is we are seriously fighting tiredness.
Tired. Rick and Morty's.
Because I don't even know if I got any sleep last night. I have to think about that. No, we didn't. Last night. There we go. Last night was just some sort of weird emotional disaster for me, but we won't go into those details.
Yeah.
I don't even know. We could just say date gone bad would probably be the best thing. And I don't even know why.
All I know is I love you so much.
I love you too. And these people are good people. It was just all kinds of weirdness. Schmeckles.
Is that right?
5 crumb bobs, or what the fuck he says.
I thought it was schmeckles.
Well, like he changed them on it.
I know.
A phlegm. I'm not even doing it. And plus, kerbopple. He's like, he makes up stuff, that guy.
And it's just brilliant when he does it. So smart.
Yeah.
I love it. Ooh, hot time.
Rick and Morty.
Yes.
Rick and Morty, everybody. Coming at you. No, I don't have the sound stuff. We have to make it on our voice today.
So, where did we end off in our combo?
Went into the secret stash, bought those said items, interacted with, of course, Walter, Mr. Zapsik.
Yes.
Oh, and while we were, going to pay for our stuff, I look in front of me, and there's Mr. Brian Johnson. And I have to say,
wow,
the dude looks great.
He looks kind of sexy.
I have not seen him. Well, you got to stop with the wave, Gene.
I'm sorry.
Killing the mic. I know you're
sorry.
going through your thing, but
I am.
Do you want a break?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Now I'm good. I just needed a little bit of that. Thank you.
We saw Michael. We saw Brian Johnson. And God, the dude. And I'm not just saying that. He doesn't look like he just lost weight.
No.
He looks like he's been fucking working weights or something.
Because
he looks kind of ripped.
He looks svelte.
He doesn't. Yes. He looks like. I don't know that svelte is the right word.
No?
He looks ripped.
He looks fit. Yeah.
He looks ripped.
He looks tight.
Yeah, he's wearing a tight shirt.
Well, I don't see now.
You can totally see some definition.
Maybe a size smaller.
And here's another thing I'll say. With the lost weight, and I don't know if the tail wagged the dog or how this works, but you start feeling better. The hair is definitely styled a little. Yes, that you jumped ahead. You took the one out of myself.
It just was all over his face.
Exactly, but I asked you before, what was the one thing you noticed about Brian Johnson? And you had to think about it, but as soon as I said it, you were like, yes, you're right.
I know. Sorry,
the dude was smiling.
Yeah, and he was genuinely
like, oh my God, go back.
Dude.
Go back to the second season of Comic Book Man.
Yeah, but he's still
He
Brian.
did not smile.
I know, but he's still Brian. Like, he's still...
Oh, I agree.
Eeyore and all that. But the thing is, he looked so good, and he really appreciated that. I think he appreciated...
Well, fucking A, it was...
Saying
like,
it, Dan.
again, I hadn't seen him in... Like, physically seen him probably since Marco's funeral, and that was 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because...
I thought it was maybe a year, but... It could be.
No, it's been about 2 years.
Yeah,
because,
he looks really
maybe
good.
I've been back in the area, but it's not like I saw Brian when I was there. That's all chance.
Yeah, he looks very healthy.
He looks great. And
Everything
I had no
looks
problem
good.
telling him, and he smiled, and that was cool.
And we
like,
told him a
wow,
few times, because every time he came
because it was
around
just
again,
like,
he's like, wow, dude, you look great.
And we told Kevin when we saw him, too. It was like, Brian looks fucking
And Kevin was
great.
like, yeah.
It's like, dude, because everyone's going, Kevin, you look good. And I was like, you know what?
Hey, fuck me. Look at Brian.
Yes, exactly. I was like, looks really good. Fucking Brian Johnson.
It's like, wait a minute, you're right.
I was down there fucking him last night. He was so awesome. He made me come. No, I'm kidding. Anyway. No, but the other thing, so he had the beard kind of styled. I don't know if it was like a lightning bolt, but it was whatever it was. It was cool. Like,
I love that.
He had it going on.
It
He was in shape, and you could tell that it was
Brian.
rubbing off.
It's your birthday.
Yes, it was.
Go, Brian. It's
So,
your birthday.
Shout out to Brian Johnson.
Yes,
and I just don't remember.
Sexy.
I can't remember the last time we've had such a positive interaction, so I was happy for that as well.
It was a nice day. Everybody was in a good mood. It was a long day.
We saw Cousin Johnny a couple times.
Johnny was
Johnny
in the
Cakes.
house. Cousin Johnny Cakes.
Also,
and we met
Coey London, as he's also known.
Cousin Johnny's mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, it was hilarious.
Now, okay, a couple things here.
So cute.
Wait, we're jumping ahead again.
I know.
Now, okay, so after you got on the first line and then went and bought your shit, then you had to go get on the second line, which was behind the stash.
So they let about 10 people in. You go in and you buy your pop that you need to get, and then you
went on the second line,
and then you go on another
which
line.
was you got on that line, and essentially you went in through the back. So anyone knows the kind of layout. You went in the back of the store. Again, it was velvet roped off.
Right.
So like the last third of the store, back by the big
surf taco,
the Buddy Jesus, and all that.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
And so essentially, you came through the door, and Kevin was right there, kind of to greet
by
you.
The Buddy Jesus, yeah.
Ready for the pictures, ready for the signs.
Buddy Christ, why did I say Buddy
Christ,
Jesus?
Yeah. Mike Zapsik was back there to help facilitate. Yeah. Who was the other guy that was at the door?
Jeff Quigley.
No, Jeff Quigley was there too.
Oh,
but
that dude!
The dude at the door who had to take over for McGeever when he cut out or whatever.
Well, cute.
He's so
keep
cool
talking.
too because he's got stuff going on anyway.
Yeah, he
and
does.
we both recognized him from Facebook, but we were like,
right.
we know you, but how do we who are you kind of thing. And we got a good chat with him. He's awesome.
Yes, we did.
And we gave him a sticker, of course. But anyway, so got a big hug from Kevin when we were getting through the door, crossed the threshold.
Yeah.
And instantly I apologized for the guy almost passing out and falling on him from Caroline's, which he probably had already forgotten. But anyway. But I remember because it ruined our moment.
I know, it really did.
Yeah.
Chad Nowicki.
Okay, yeah.
Is his name? He's an artist.
Yeah.
He was he was like the doorman, kind of letting everybody in.
Well, Ed had to do something and took over for a little bit. I think was what happened.
Right.
But he was a cool guy.
But
and I'd seen him around too. So
he's a cool guy, and I think you'll hear more from him like in the future because he'll chat more with us.
Very nice guy.
Very cool guy.
So yeah, and so then we start busting out the stuff for him to sign.
Now this was how it went, guys. Really quick, you had to buy a pop there. That was the pop, the Kevin Smith stash pop. You were, in addition to, each person could have 4 other things signed. So in total, each person could have 5 things signed, including the pop bought at the stash.
So the pop and
day.
4 other things. That could be anything.
Anything,
other than pop.
Anything you wanted.
You want your balls signed? I guess Kevin would do it if you're having them tattooed or whatever.
Preferably something you bought.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't even know why I went to balls, but
because that's just what you do. You go to balls.
That's more J-like in my approach.
You did not go to the penis.
Yes.
Or
it was more of a snoochie boochie.
Or boobies.
Yeah. It was more of the shock.
I would never ask Kevin to sign my boobies. That would be horrible.
All right. So, first of all, one thing I love about Kevin now is, I can tell he's relaxed around us.
He is.
The event can get him keyed up, but I don't feel like he feels like he needs to put on as much, I guess. He doesn't go as broad, the arms don't wave, And I don't say that I don't say that in a bad way.
No,
I just say
more
he relaxes. And I love that.
Yeah.
And that my heart is good.
Yeah.
But, it swells me up inside. And so I had the water pipe. And I figured I was going to, so I said, well, first I gave him the grinder because it's easy and it's in size.
What was his reaction when you gave it to him?
He's like, this is not the first grinder I've signed. So what the heck? And so he signed it. He's just like, where? I'm like, you know what? He could sign it anywhere. I wouldn't give a shit. Just so, it's more like, Kevin, I love you. Put it anywhere you want.
Right.
Whatever you think looks good or whatever's easiest for you.
Right.
I'll take either of those options. But anyway, so he started signing the grinder. I said, oh, wow, okay, well, how about this? Have you signed any of these water pipes yet? He goes, no, I have not signed. This is the first bong I've signed.
He said
and then
bong.
I said, and like he at least said it twice. And I said, well, I agree with you. However, I have been scolded several times back in the store for saying that. And then finally, Michael had to chime in, like, yes, we are supposed to call,
did he say it in
in
an upset way? Or was just
it was just more, it was kind of funny,
as
actually.
an employee.
Yeah, it was, it was a little bit of both. It was like, well, I have to say this now.
Right, well, because if not, there's even some liability there.
Okay, so in that case, but we weren't buying anything.
No.
Anyway, and it's a rose by any other name.
It sure is.
It's like, look, that's kind of a bong, right?
Yeah.
It makes that noise. That's why I call it that. Anyway, back. That's more
bong.
Logic from you take the
Jay
good, you take the bad, you take the good. Exactly.
Bong.
See, the other thing, I almost said that in the store, like, bong!
Yeah.
Snoochie Boochies.
All I can think of is Ben Affleck when he said it.
Bong. Bong.
Bong.
Yes, that's funny.
And Mallrats.
Yes. What the fuck is the internet? Anyway, we're going way far flung. So, that was
the
one.
The crowd was fun today.
So that was very cool. So I found out that mine's the first one.
The very
signed
first.
by the man himself.
Yes.
Now, if only we can get Jay's Siggy on there, too, it'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So at some point, we might have to do that.
Right.
Yes,
in addition, we did
because it is a Blunt Man and Chronic model.
Right. We did get our education book signed.
Yes. Yes. So we had,
right.
Like we said, we were limited, so we're working with some pops and we're working with some stuff.
And
I got education. Yes, he puts a big arrow.
A big arrow to it.
That's already on Instagram for those
yes,
who want to check it out.
Cute.
Yeah.
Kevin is so cute. I love him so much.
I basically tagged Andy. Hey, now I need your fucking signature.
Oh yeah. Well, when we go to LA, we'll get it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, non sequitur, just out of the blue. I remember as we made it closer to the door, looking towards the end of the line and seeing a guy who was like a doppelganger.
Oh, my God.
For Big Daddy Jimmy V.
Yeah, he was like the disheveled
Yes,
version.
Exactly. He had like...
the disheveled Big Daddy.
It was like the Lost Weekend Big Daddy Jimmy V, after a couple dozen six-packs and a fucking,
A very, very bad stretch of road.
Yeah. But, no, it was weird. I had to double take.
It really was.
Because it was like, did he fly in from California? If so, why the fuck isn't he coming over here talking?
Yeah. And he looks awfully like,
when you got closer, of course, he did, obviously. But really.
But there was definitely a resemblance.
Yeah.
Strong.
Yeah. So,
like he's
shout
like
out to you, not in California.
His weird, his weird, twin or something.
Yeah. It was just odd, yeah.
It really was. It was like he was there with us.
Yeah. And you know what else is cool?
It's
just
really cool people.
I mean, when we're online, seeing friends like Cousin Johnny Cakes, and so we get to go off and talk to them for a little bit and get a break from the line. And then Ernie, OD was there.
It's so hard to stand still. Like you just have to move around. Then you have to sit down. You have to get a drink. It's just warm. And I did get sunburned.
Right.
And that's why I was smelling
I got
sunscreen.
colored too. As soon as I saw myself in the mirror to
sunscreen.
take a leak when I got back, I was like, "Oh my god!"
People were using sunscreen. You didn't realize because the sun was very.
It was a little hazy, so
it
was just enough.
Overcast.
Yeah.
But still, you get sunburn.
I don't mind the first burn.
No, it's all right. It actually.
And
felt
I'm not
nice.
like I'm.
No.
Neither of us are like,
No.
"Oh, you're burnt to a crisp." How? It wasn't.
It actually felt nice.
It
was
wasn't
a good
the July sun.
It was worth it.
And we're talking about weather. Shoot us.
We are.
All right, now, as I'm signing, so basically what's going on is, did we do selfie first? I think we did selfie first, didn't we?
I think
Or it might have been
so.
midstream.
Well, I had to take all the stuff out of my bag and give it over to sign. So after that was when we did the selfie.
We used my camera for selfie.
We signed stuff first and then the selfie.
Okay. Now, where were you? Like while he was signing my thing, were you over by Grace? Because, ladies and gentlemen,
not yet.
Just for the record,
I wasn't yet.
Grace Smith was also in the hizzy earlier today.
No, I wasn't yet.
Okay.
I was just like off to the side.
Okay, yeah. So I'm having a brief conversation about Kevin. I forget what the heck we were talking about. What led us to this? Mm-hmm. Things he was signing, obviously, because he was signing some pops and he was signing that other shit. And I don't remember what spurred him to say it. He said to me with a very, cat that ate the canary kind of smile that I knew he was enjoying.
Like, I have a
but
secret.
I loved it every minute of it. He's like, I signed quite a few ThatMan on Fatman stickers today.
Fucking A,
I was
dude.
like, the look on my
he
face.
Signed our show stickers.
Yes, I was so excited.
Oh my God,
I
I
must have been wearing it on my fucking face.
I hope
like,
those
oh my
people
God.
enjoy them. How lucky are they to have those? That's so cool.
Yeah, if you signed your sticker, feel free on Twitter, ThatMan on Fatman.
Yes, we'd love to see them. That's so fun.
We'd love to see your sticker with his signature on it.
And hopefully we can sign them for you, too.
It's our show, and we didn't even think to have him sign our stupid stickers.
I know.
But we're kind of, we're at this place now where we hate abusing this thing.
Well, see, now we've seen a pattern with Kevin, and Kevin is he's very appreciative, and he's very... He gives his applause on the sidelines, and he's not someone...
And we don't feel the need like we want to fucking...
He has often said that he's not really... It's a kind of... he uses the word gross, which is, kind of...
If he gives to us now, it is taking away from other fans.
Right.
He's
like...
We also keep that in mind
right.
and want to be quick and not gross.
And there have been little moments like we've been at shows where he's said things about our show and all that. So like those are the little
classic
moments
stories.
that we
Go
hold,
back to the
that
third
we hold
season and stuff.
close as to like special moments. We don't expect them all the time, but we
there was
know
a couple
that
of
he's
special
supporting
moments today.
us. Yeah, we
the
know
fact
he's supporting us.
That's the first one he signed to me was a special. That was just a special moment. Special moment to me.
Right.
The next was him saying, "I signed quite a few."
The fact that he signed the stickers blew my mind. That's huge.
Because it means that people weren't afraid to offer it to him because it's got his face on it. It's in the Rushmore.
Yeah.
Two,
and it's his fan.
He's not like disowning. I won't sign that piece of shit.
But the thing is, he's not obligated to sign our sticker. He could have said,
he's
"No,
not
I'm
obligated
not to sign it."
Well, if you sign he's not obligated to sign your titties, but he does, or like man titties.
Yeah.
I'm not saying women titties.
He would never sign women titties.
Well, sure he would. But what I'm saying is, like, but he gets it. His picture is on there.
Right.
Well,
I think, thank you,
first
sir,
of all,
for signing the stickers.
Hey, let's give props to the man who did that piece of artwork.
Yes.
And that's our man, Mr. Chundertunes. I know we haven't mentioned his name in a while, but
Mark
he
Live.
is bumped out at the beginning of every episode anyway.
Mark Live.
Yeah, Mark Live. Just a lot of animation. But, like, I remember after Mark Bernardin had gotten a little solidified in the show, they'd come out with that new logo. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, holy shit. I remember contacting Mark Live and saying, dude, look at the new Fatman on Batman logo. And I trust you.
It's so cool the way he did.
And boom, he turned it right.
It was magic.
It was one of the fastest things I think he turned around for.
And it's so well done.
Yeah, it was.
It's a beautiful sticker.
I don't know that I've ever loved anything he's done. And one of the things that I love about it so much is you on it.
Really?
Yeah, one that you're there because you always felt, and that sassiness.
Yeah.
And I know in time people are going to ask, why is it ThatMan when it's a guy and a girl? But and that all has to do with the roots of the show and blah 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 blah.
It's how the show develops.
And sometimes you'll see that it's the first Kevin Smith or the first Kevin Smith fanboy podcast, and that usually has to do with when you say fanboy and fangirl. it starts to become really long.
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't flow, and sometimes things just have to be a given. Like,
and while we
it's
love,
obvious that I'm
we
a
are
girl,
very inclusive,
and it's fine. That man is fine. I don't feel like you're leaving me out.
So, in a way, but we know how Kevin feels about the show. And we know he listens, despite he doesn't admit to it. And
I
he
don't
would
know
probably
that
wouldn't even. Okay, however, I believe. How about that?
An episode, maybe.
I believe
or two.
that Mr. Smith listens
to
probably pretty regularly.
Really, to select episodes,
and just cannot. He again, as I put to whoever the fuck it was, because I nailed it. Hey guys, I really love that show you do about me. You can't do that. It just
do you think he does to keep tabs on us?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I think he listens because of
but
very
someone
does.
I'll
give you 3 reasons he listens.
Okay.
The first one is the most important. It's about him.
I know.
If someone said, "Hey, I got a show about Scott Holden out there," I would fucking listen every fucking week without fail.
Good or
These
bad?
motherfuckers are talking about me. I better be monitoring.
Right.
Okay, so that was the first one. 2, it's a good show. We have a good show.
We do, and we love you. It's Kevin. I'm sorry.
And
Sir,
3,
because I know you're listening.
It may be a really good guest, so you won't want to miss it.
Yeah.
So
Sir automatically comes out now. It's very respectful.
Sir, I use Sir for a lot of people.
I do too.
Right? And I know that they know, so that's why I use it.
Yeah.
It's like and hey.
It's a term of endearment.
Sir is a term of endearment and respect. Yes, it always
really
is, even in the military.
Yes,
but we know it's all from Jay, sirs.
Jay.
Yes.
Snoochie boochies.
Snoochie boochies. That would have been the capper to today, but
I know. I didn't think that was happening because he's at a con, I think, or he might be somewhere.
Yes. Oh, in addition, folks, to this tooth thing that I was the dry socket. As it turns out, I guess my tooth root was a plug for my sinus.
Good God.
Yeah, so I have this other weird thing that is somewhat common, but not everybody gets it. And yeah, it's I hear my voice slightly different than you probably do. Well, then I know you do because I keep asking other people if they hear it and they say no.
Right.
And it also is accompanied with various types of pain, particularly if you bend over to get something. Like when yeah. It's like all of a sudden, all your sinus pressure goes into this one little spot. You're like, oh.
That's horrible.
Dentist says it takes about 2 weeks to heal. Lots of
really?
Fun. Lots of fun, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. And I wonder if as a diabetic, that doesn't mean 3 or 4.
Oh, yeah.
Diabetes. Another beautiful thing. All right, so Kevin says he signed a few ThatMan on Fatman. I don't know that I remember. I know we talked a little more, but I told him, hey, we're going to see you tomorrow night, blah, blah, blah. I forgot to tell him about Bob Hawke, of course.
Yeah, we're going to see Bob tomorrow, too.
I know. But, that's the way it goes.
I know.
Because
when
you're in the moment, you're so, everything.
Finally, we're here.
Yeah, and while you're there, there's so much going on.
Yeah, and he's so generous. And I did ask him about Harley's movie, and he was saying how moving it was, and a little bit about the Q&A. And he talked about a moment that Molly Ringwald actually referenced Harley, and he said it was a very special, nostalgic moment because there was Molly Ringwald, somebody that he has always, revered.
He's a huge
John
Hughes
big John
fan.
Hughes
For those.
So, I don't know, it was just a cool moment, and him sharing that was pretty cool. And it was very brief. It was 30 seconds.
So as we shuffle, it's like we already had shuffled off. Now, of course, Cousin Johnny Cakes has already given us the heads up for what the code phrase was to say with his moms.
Yes.
So Gene had said that, and we were sort of in like Flint, I guess. But what that meant, long story short, is it just made it easier to get access to Grace. But you know what? I don't know that we needed any special because she was just kind of there, and I think that you could have walked up to her anyway. But I'm sure it didn't hurt. Now, this was the third moment I was blown away, and maybe the most blown away. So you're over there talking to Grace, and she looked great, by the way. She
looked great.
Yeah. So then everybody looks great today. We got Brian Johnson, and Grace were wrestling. It was amazing. They were in the corner. They flipping tables. It was amazing. No. And in this corner, weighing in 175 pounds of lean muscle. But anyway, But she looked good, and you're over there talking to her, and then I come over, and like at first she's kind of like, well, who's this douche? Yeah, I kind of like she.
Well, I kind of clued in who I was.
At first she was patient, but then you could tell like she was like, well, who are you? Kind of look.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say it. And I said, I'm sorry, I'm with her.
Yeah.
And that just gave me egress into the conversation.
Yeah, well, because we had already been talking for a little bit.
Now, but like more towards the end of our conversation, she came at me saying, I remember meeting you guys at Caroline's. She said 2 years ago, but actually I think it was 3 years ago. Because, again, I can use Marco as the frame of reference.
Was it Kevin's 45th birthday?
I think so.
Because that was a big birthday.
Yeah. So 45th, that would have been 3 years ago, now that I'm 48.
Right. Well, because he's going to be 48
or 2.5 years ago. Yeah. So, so still, she's pretty damn close. Or 2 years ago.
Us.
She remembered me. Oh, my God. Now, I tell that story from time to time because it was the whole family, and I was starstruck. Because I was one of my favorite shows. I don't talk about it anymore because I don't put it out episodes like they used to. But was Highlands, A Peephole History.
Right. I wonder if he'll do maybe one or two. Maybe
occasionally they sneak on that feed. And I just haven't checked it in a while.
Right. Maybe he's feeling more like close to his family and stuff.
To tell you the truth, now the formula is if he does any one-offs, they just go on SModcast.
That's true. Yeah. I got it.
Yeah.
That would be nice for him to do like one of those maybe during the holidays.
And it's funny because you can kind of track it up to Kevin had he can get, I don't want to say anal, but I guess that's the best about certain things like, oh wait, well SModcast is me and Scott, and that's it takes him a long time to adjust to a change like that. He eventually does, and now I think he's even easier with it. But but there was a time when we have to start a whole new podcast just for that.
Right.
Let's call it people. But I love that podcast. It's one of those ones that I used to put on at night to fall asleep.
Right, and it doesn't expect much of you. It's very sweet.
It's very sweet. I think you hit the tone, and it's fun, and there are so many touchstones that remind me of my upbringing because I grew up in the same area.
It
they
just
talk about TV channels and shows and food stuff.
The good stuff about being a kid.
Yeah.
Like the comfort food stuff and the warm and fuzzy stuff.
Yes.
Because there were stuff.
The 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, and 13 of it all. And for anyone who's keeping track, those were all the channels we had.
Absolutely.
And then maybe 35 on good days.
Because that's why we love Kevin so much. Because, I mean, we relate so much. Identify with the childhood.
I'm a kid from Jersey who worked in a convenience store a lot.
I know. And so many people relate because he's just so down to earth.
I'm a slacker, born in 1970.
You know what? It's just Kevin. He relates to so many people. It's just, today it was just a huge success.
And he's just
for the stash. It was a huge success.
As he's gotten more into his thing, he's become a channel of positive energy.
I know.
For both his fans and everyone alike.
And all of the energy that he's received since his stint.
He feeds back. Oh yeah, yes. Fucking A. Yeah, you could even feel that vibe. He just felt
total vibe.
Easy. You know what I mean? Like lighter. It's almost like the first time we ever met him when we met him at the Montclair Film Festival.
Oh my God.
And he was shot out of the cannon because he was on sugar or whatever.
He probably just had sugar too.
And in a good space.
He really was.
Like that was just one of those moments that was like 420 hadn't come along.
I think that was more artificial.
He was about to come out with Yoga Hosers too.
Oh, Yoga Hosers. Love it.
He was about to announce it at least.
Yep.
Shit like that. So anyway. Ooh. That reminds me, we should touch on a little business.
Okay.
Complete and utter sidetrack, but totally Kevin Smith related. We recently received a note from friend of the show, Mr. Will Wilkins.
Yes.
And other Kevin Smith, like if you have a Facebook page and you've posted Kevin Smith stuff with an animation or whatever. I think animations maybe.
Now, Facebook or YouTube?
What did I say, Facebook? I meant YouTube.
Yeah, okay.
And they may go after Facebook,
too.
Any
social media.
Yeah. If you posted any of Kevin's old SModcasts, and it's more than SModcast, anything anything on SModcast Network currently that is older than 6 months, you will now have to become a member of Stitcher. It's like Stitcher Archive or whatever it's called, to get access to all those old shows. In addition, if you're someone like us who we didn't have a lot, but we had a few clips that we either A, we really liked, or B, I made it easy for the audience by splicing two different shows that had the yoga hoser stuff on it.
Right.
Because it was like a two-parter, and they work great together. I know a lot of people out there have Emo Kev, like all
oh my God.
edited. And so
oh,
if you have any of this stuff out there, as we were told by Will Wilkins was really cool. It's not like he made.
He was wonderful.
Not a dick. He was actually, he actually said part of the reason he's reaching out to us is because there were certain shows that he felt he wanted to give the personal touch to.
Well, yeah, and anything that we present to the listeners is always in a positive fashion. Yeah. That's why.
So, but he knew that, like, okay, the Guy LaPointe episode, the fucking 237, I believe is what it is. I believe it's 237.
Yes.
We posted that. I posted that because it inspired the show in many ways, and I just love it.
It's key to the show.
It's
the
a
origin
great
of the
episode,
show.
And it's also a good way to say, oh, this is what Kevin does. This is SModcast.
Right.
But I understand.
Yeah. Well, he was just giving us the
and
heads up because
if you've noticed that those have been removed from our YouTube channel, which we have, that's why.
Right, and if you do have anything, you might get a nasty message.
Yeah, YouTube. So if you also have these things and have not heard from anyone, you will be hearing from someone soon.
Someone will be requesting your
nasty lawyer's note from Stitcher.
Take it down now.
Yeah. So just a heads up, and sorry to derail there.
Yeah, and it's 1, 2, 3. Take it down. It's no problem.
And you know what? While we're here, while we've taken this derail, let's also take a moment and talk about Death Wish Coffee.
Yes.
All right, we want to take a moment to talk about Death Wish Coffee. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor and get over to deathwishcoffee.com. And there you can buy the strongest coffee known to man without a prescription.
The world's strongest coffee ever.
Yes, as proudly displayed on my wife's sweatshirt over there.
Yes, on my body, on my mug, on my K-cups.
Yes, and you'll know them by their telling sign of the skull and crossbones.
It's
that tells
so
you
good.
Exactly what you're in for. That used to be the international symbol for poison, but now it is the symbol for good damn coffee.
It's awesome. Without milk, with milk, you don't really need it because it's strong.
But not bitter?
Not bitter. So you don't even need milk. You don't even need sugar, but you can add it if you'd like. It's just really, really the perfect, strongest, most awesome coffee.
Become a junkie of Death Wish. DeathWishCoffee.com. Thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
And be sure to get 10% off your order at www.deathwishcoffee.com when you use the code ThatMan. That's one word, conjunctified, all caps. ThatMan for 10% off your orders at deathwishcoffee.com. I want to take this time to mention to you www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's right, www.audibletrial.com/ThatMan on Fatman. That's one word, conjunctified. Go there, sign up for your free 30-day free trial. Sign up, get a free book, a free audiobook, because you don't have to go through no tedious reading. You don't have to turn no fucking pages. You don't have to do any of that bullshit. You get in your car, you put on your headphones, and you are listening to a book. You're taking a magical journey into a fictitious land. You're expanding your mind, all when you're stuck in traffic. Fucking amazing. Audiobooks. These are the wave of the future. And you can get in for free for 30 days. A free trial. And when you get your free trial, you can download a copy of Tough Shit by our Savior, Kevin Smith. That's right. Our Lord and Savior, Kevin Smith, has left words for us to follow in our lives, and we can get it for free just by signing up to audibletrial.com/ThatManOnFatman. That's right. audibletrial.com/ThatManOnFatman. Thank you. Please sign up. You'll be very happy you did.
Hey, what are you doing with these babies? And he also, of course, killed Dante in the original Clerks, which was clipped right the fuck out.
Yes, that was
Quiet Man is the name.
Not a good idea for the ending.
And the thing is, when people see him, they don't really recognize him. Like, especially now, because he's older, he's a little snow on the roof and all that.
He's
great
quite
guy.
a character.
But
Great,
as soon as the dude fucking opens his mouth, he's Coey London. And exactly. There's hey, what are you doing with all these babies? Again, I said the same damn line, but like it's so him.
It's Cousin Johnny Cakes.
Yeah. He's also in fucking, what do you call it?
I talked about him the whole last episode a lot, too.
I have to go. When I saw him today, I'm like, dude, you have to come back to the fucking That Cave.
He's such a great personality.
I don't know if it came through on the show, but it was just so much fun in this room with him here.
Yeah, he adds so much life.
And his wonderful girlfriend. Yeah.
I think he even mentioned, he's like, I got to talk to Red. Does she have red hair?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what he called her. He's like, I got to talk to Red first.
I could have sworn I saw her.
No, I don't think she was there.
All right, that could be too.
I mean,
there were other red-haired women in the
I
world.
thought more it was. I mean, because he was there to work, but his mom was there too.
This is something I will comment on. The male to female ratio, I would put it at.
Dude.
I would put at 5 dudes for every 1 girl. Would you say?
I don't know if it was that much.
Wow. Yeah. And that's so funny because there was this one Latina girl that you were talking to, and then she went away to go get pizza or something.
Ooh, that pizza was good, too.
But when she came back, that's how, like, oh, my, I heard you say, oh, you're back. And then I joked to the other guys, finally, another female I can talk to again.
No, I think there were other females, but it was kind of very scattered.
Yeah, it's a standard
and some were
Kevin
like,
Smith demo.
Like, there was one hilarious dude with his daughter. It was just, like, so funny. Because the kids, are like dragging themselves because it's a long day. It's like 8 hours. They don't want to be online that long.
You know what's weird though?
And people can't cope.
There are a couple times when I had to walk back to the car, check on it, whatever. Because we've gone to Red Bank enough times, we know where to park, where you won't have to pay.
Yeah.
But you might have to walk a little more.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And it's worth it.
I like hearing conversations of families about the Kevin Smith thing, but are pissed because they didn't get tickets.
Oh, are you kidding? Because people got there and didn't get tickets.
Yeah. And something like, they should put it more clear on the website and shit like that.
Because that would have been us, because we didn't know.
Uh-huh.
And here I'm telling people, check the website. I didn't fucking check
196.
Holy fuck, guys. I mean, really?
Oh, really? You didn't get in? I'm 196. Fuck you. No,
it's a good thing that we left when we did.
Walking,
seriously, because there were other things that we might have not have gone right away when we left. So I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
It was a good day.
It was a really nice day. I mean, again, then after it was all said and done, we saw Coey London and Ernie O'Donnell.
Right.
And we got to chill out and talk a little bit.
And Cousin Johnny gave us a bag, and he was of stuff.
Yeah, so
we
won't say what's in it, though.
No, but he's so sweet.
Yes, awesome. So much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It's good to be the king, I guess.
Thank you so much. So generous.
Yeah, I mean, all of the items will be distributed amongst the Holden clan. So.
Yes, and That Cave is getting very stuffed with Kevin stuff.
Yeah, a lot of pops.
A lot of pops. A lot like some cool stuff that I didn't even think.
And of course, actually, you know what? This is the longest we've gone before we're actually going to segment into a news segment.
Yes.
But coming in the mail is now a signed Fatman pop.
For our bay.
For our bay.
For our bay news girl.
So wacky.
Danny.
Yeah. So, and she already knows. She wormed it right out of me. It didn't take much. But she's thrilled.
I want it to be a surprise. That was all you.
One thing I like is, I like it's the
And she
t-shirt
shared it
or
on
whatever
Twitter
it is. Yeah.
already about it. She shared it about everybody.
Awesome.
Today's been a great day or whatever, and then she shared that. I'm glad she did because she deserves it.
She's fucking crew, man.
So I can't wait. So we'll wrap it great, and we'll send it Monday. And
Yeah,
you'll
we
get
got
it
our address.
next week.
Maybe we'll send her to the bong box. Just as
Bong.
No.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, we're back. But however, we're not doing Smedlines this week. No, we're not. We're going to talk more about our weekend. And this is so strange because we recorded our last segment, I guess it was Saturday night. And first of all, folks, if you hear some weirdness in my voice, it's because I had dental work and something like affected my sinus.
Some sinus thing happened.
Yeah. Basically, I had a rear molar that was cracked, extracted. And
so painful.
Yeah.
So
and
sorry.
Apparently it was plugging up the sinus, which is not as uncommon as it sounds, but so when they extracted the tooth, it like made a hole, a new hole in my face between my sinus and it's like the taint of my sinus and my mouth.
So basically
somehow.
they unplugged that thing.
Yeah, and so it takes about 2 weeks to heal, and it sounds weird.
Does it hurt or it just feels weird?
It feels weird. It makes it harder to get pressure, like pressurize your mouth. So like things that, like straw drinking,
like smoking,
and anything like that, anything that would require pulling, sucking, that kind of, those are weird because it's harder to get pressure because it's almost as though if I plug my nose, it'll be easier because then there's no leak. And it is.
But then your voice changes when you do that.
And my voice changes a little bit normally right now. Right now, the whole thing is.
I notice it sounds like you have
and weird.
It sounds like you have a cold or some, but it'll get better. I mean, people like you still sound like you.
Yeah.
It's just a little different.
Well, yeah, it's like in the background, some weird kind of thing.
That's okay.
You're
spicing things up a little.
Well, we're about to spice things up big time because. All right. Let me preface this by saying, and you may not have detected this on the show or even in the first part of the show, but since November.
Excuse me, guys.
Since November, there's been a medical issue.
Well, has it really been since November, though?
Well, I mean, that's where we could find the source.
It didn't happen until after that, but the thing that happened.
Yeah. After Jean's surgery happened back in November.
Right.
Eventually, you know, because of your hormonal balance and all the other stuff going on, you have been behaving less and less like you.
Very erratically, guys.
Yeah, over the last several months.
Now, I'd like to, it's hard to kind of I want to kind of talk about this in order, but I don't know what kind of order it really will be.
Well,
but
let's just say there's been signs.
But what I'm saying is my doctor who did the surgery, who is the head of the women's center, I'm not going to say the hospital, the cancer center.
Yeah. For whatever reason, did not give you proper hormone therapy.
Even when I called, would not give me medicine because I didn't have cancer.
Well, and also at the time you didn't have insurance because
I think by then hadn't you been? That to me didn't they didn't need to know that. They would just need to say, "Here's your prescription." It has nothing to do with insurance at that. So now, right then, that's like a hideous right there.
Well,
because I've read a lot, I've spoken with women. Before you go into the surgery, there's supposed to be a plan in place. After your surgery, you're going to go get this medicine, you're going to go get this medicine, and then you're going to come see me in 3 months, and we're going to see how it's working.
But none of that happened.
Okay,
well.
Dudes, none of that happened. I was left and seriously, the surgery I had.
I think some of that had a lot to do with timing.
I agree,
because
too.
You had the surgery, and then within a few months.
I lost my job 2 months later.
Yeah, so therefore,
right.
All the insurance basically went, and
everything.
Then there's no motivation for any of those doctors to say, "Oh, come on back."
I know there was no motivation.
So
there was no motivation.
You were dropped like a hot potato,
right?
And
what happens is okay. So what happened to me is I had my my other ovary removed. Okay, so now I don't have any ovaries.
Yes.
Because many years ago, when my son was young, I had my other one removed
because it was
a tumor, basically.
It had a cyst, she had a cyst, which essentially strangled the ovary, and it was like gangrene.
Right.
It was dead and had to come out.
Okay, so now
she had another one that was essentially doing the same thing. It hadn't gone gangrene,
yes,
but the doctor
recommended. And I said, I want it out. I don't want it. I don't want my period. I'm done. It hurts.
We're going into a lot of detail here, folks. So,
anyway, it hurts.
And the reason we're doing this is so that maybe someone out there will be going through the same stuff.
Because it's hard to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So anyway, now what happens to me is, bam, you're in menopause. I say overnight. Yeah. And this is not a joke. Yeah. When I saw overnight, I'm like, really? It has to be, your body has to kind of adjust.
So eventually
there's
like
an
instantly
overnight,
hot
flashes, and I'm telling you, the hot flashes. I was telling Scott, when you feel it internally, it's an internal, like, combustion. Whew. You start getting irritated. I was telling him, it's like the Hulk. Hulk just wants to smash. Yeah. You feel like that. And that, you can totally... Okay. It's crazy.
Hang on. So, all right. So, for a bunch of months, she went, during all that, unmedicated. And then, eventually... Right. Well, and this brought... Even that was bringing about erratic behavior, but not as bad as just in the last few weeks in particular.
Right. I definitely was not medicated from my surgery through when I've got fired from my job. Yeah. Or laid off.
Yeah, and then
so
afterwards,
now that implies a lot of things, too. Like,
yeah. But anyway.
What was going on there?
Your behavior has been erratic.
Right.
So, for at least post your surgery.
Right.
But it even got worse.
And I'm not blaming my doctors. But
things just kept getting worse.
Like things could have been...
Things just kept getting worse and worse and worse. Right. Eventually, we kept, with the hot flashes and the anger and the erratic.
Yeah.
And so
oh, my God.
And so... Eventually went to our family doctor.
Yeah, a wonderful man. And if you please try your best to get a family doctor that you can trust, because it's very important.
And he prescribed estrogen therapy. But we're about to get heavy into female biology in terms of progesterone and all that stuff.
Yes. So what happened to me is, like I said, now I have 0 ovaries, but I do have my uterus.
Yes.
Okay. So
which
now
is unlike a hysterectomy, where apparently they take everything
is removed. Yeah. Okay. So now my uterus had some little polyps on it, but they took care of that when I had my surgery. So I'm good up there in the uterus or wherever over there.
In the U department.
In the utero department, the in utero.
A lot of people are going to be like, "This is way too much information."
No, but it's
helpful
it makes
any women out there who.
So what happens is I still have my uterus. So what happens? I need estrogen because I have no ovaries, but I also need progesterone because progesterone. I hope I'm saying it right. Helps to combat any cancer that would form on the uterus.
Yes.
So it helps to protect the
uterus.
Basically,
you need a different.
I need a different
formula
combination
than a person who.
If a person had a hysterectomy, they would only need the estrogen.
Yeah,
they would not need to protect the uterus because it's not there.
Gotcha.
So now that's what I was given by our primary doctor.
Yeah.
After, like, an appointment with someone else that was a mess.
Yes.
This doctor 1, 2, 3 gave me it. So what I'm telling you is try to find a doctor that will listen to you and know that you know what's going on with yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that something's wrong and I want medicine.
Okay.
And don't threaten me with cancer, please.
Okay. I don't know at what point. Like, here's the thing. So she started on that medicine, and right away the hot flashes just, at least went down in terms of frequency and what do you call it? Duration,
just like the
intensity.
Well, the intensity was there. See, but I don't. Yeah, but you know what? At first, it came like almost like double time.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. You
first,
you didn't say anything.
See, but you know what? This has been my MO, and I apologize if you guys have felt this. I apologize if I've given off any vibes. But like Kevin, I don't know if you've heard him talk about it.
It's weird. It was the weirdest phenomenon.
I isolate myself,
and it was like deep shame.
It was something like
the whole time. Like part of the whole thing was that you just were trying to find some other excuse.
Right,
for this.
And Kevin, like, you remember how Kevin
said it wasn't you.
Kevin was talking about like when he wasn't feeling good, he wanted to go off in the corner.
Yeah.
It was like that type of thing. I don't know if we had the same feelings, but I just wanted to be away, and I wanted to take care of it and then come back and say, okay, I'm good now. I just didn't want to. I don't know why, but now I know why.
Yeah.
Because when I went to, so there's a little bit of, stories we can tell you, but today a solution started.
Yeah, well, a couple days. But so what happened was at some point, I guess, like you were concerned that the medication you were on wasn't being effective enough.
Yeah,
so,
because I was getting ultra more, but I think...
So you double dose, so he asked you to double dose.
Right, but I think... Wait, can I just say something quick? But I think when you start this medication, you get the over effects of it, but then it levels off. And I never gave myself the chance to
it's
leveling
supposed to apparently take 30 days.
Right, so now Gene does not like to wait that long.
Yeah, and plus you're out of your mind anyway. You're getting more and more erratic through this course of the whole thing. So when I really think that doubling that medication, like, did something and spiked it. Like, whatever was going on,
well, because think of
intensified it.
Right,
because at that,
yeah.
Because at that point, or in and around that time, your behavior became so erratic.
Disgusting, really.
Not this, but like maniac, you know, like mania, because you. And what was even becoming scarier was
I was okay with it.
Not only were you okay with it, but like you were unaware of it. You didn't.
Or I didn't even care.
You were starting to exhibit like all kinds of antisocial behavior.
But that's the thing, moving away.
It was becoming. I mean, like at the very end there, there was no one. If anyone had come in, you know, they would just call you crazy and want to throw you in a straitjacket.
But this is the whole moving away, like, and how I can tell you, like, moving around made me feel good. I just didn't. I don't know.
You were out of your mind. You were like maniacal. You were like as though you were in mania.
It was.
And you're not bipolar. And you were, again, the whole thing, the irony and the craziness of all this was, if you go back to post-November, none of this was going, I mean, yes, you and I would have fights.
Right.
Like any couple.
Right.
But not so frequently, not so intensely.
Guys, I got to tell you.
And not so much that, like, you know, the best way to deal, it was like dealing with Donald Trump.
Right.
Because you would double down,
right.
You would insult, you would just get nasty and just never, and, you know.
I never say I'm sorry or even think that that's wrong.
And all of your apologies were all like
sassy.
In anger. Like, I'm sorry I got caught.
And defensive, like, how dare you say.
Yeah, and they were, false, because they were all just like.
They were just trying to get
Get me off the hook.
Can I tell you guys, this is a story, I stayed over a hotel.
No, but wait, you're jumping ahead.
Okay, we're jumping ahead.
Okay. The reason we tell you all this is because it all came to a head at a Kevin Smith show on Sunday night, the night after the night that we've just talked about. Because it all came to a head, and it was like, it was insanity to me on a grand scale. Just a crazy night, one of the worst nights of my life.
It was like on, it's seriously, in a way, I felt like I was on like cocaine the whole day.
I didn't know.
That's not me.
I just didn't know what was happening.
What I was going to do.
If I was ever going to see my best friend again. Like if she was ever going to come back to me, because she was lost, and this other person who was like a psychopath was in my life. I'm not. I don't say.
And you don't say.
You don't hear any laughing here. I mean, she was. I mean, this was definitely some sort of medical event. So,
and notice that I'm able to like take that.
Yes, now you're all cool because you're more lucid.
Let's not say Jean's perfect now.
But you're lucid. That's the most important thing. You're self-aware.
I was given something that
you were getting. Yeah, thank God. So that's a long story short, but let's get them there. Yeah. Things are better now.
And we
long story short.
We hope this is helping most of all you guys.
Exactly. That is the only reason we're sharing.
If you don't want to hear it, just fast forward to the good part.
Yeah. Well, Kevin's in here somewhere too.
He really is.
So,
that was horrifying.
Okay, so Sunday we have this essentially a double day. First we have brunch with Bob Hawke.
Oh.
And then we have then later that evening we're going to see Kevin speak in Atlantic Highlands. And and this was after it turned out to be a really good day the day before.
It was. And the lunch was nice too.
Yeah. maybe it could be that we're out basically in public the whole day or whatever. I don't know. But so we went.
I try not to be. I mean, I don't even know, whatever. But
so the next day we went to see Bob. Actually, brunch went okay. There was only a couple of little
we don't have to talk about
flare-ups.
Yeah, and we gave him a present, which he loved.
Yeah, and we gave him a Bob Hawk shirt.
Oh my God, he loved it, guys.
Yeah.
He was so happy. He's like, oh my God, I don't have one. I'm so happy.
Yeah, so.
I wish we got a picture with
thanks
him.
to Cousin Johnny Cakes for that.
See, but that's the thing. I was in such a state, no picture was even done.
Yeah.
Because why?
We were all
Fuck
crazy.
up the day.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so we had a good lunch with Bob, and but then we left, and I don't remember what set me off, but something made me mad in the car about basically, an outside issue having nothing to do with any of this, but it's still, it was more about behavior and and like miscues and basically I had a reason to be pissed off, and I was expressing myself, and you use that as like the set off for the end of the world. And
because I didn't know how I didn't know.
You didn't know how to process anything anymore.
I didn't know how to process, and I didn't know what I was doing. Like, I was so out of my mind.
Okay, so
and
the only way to put it is,
it
like, for
like
the last
excuse.
4 or 5 days,
it sounds like an
particularly since, again, I think it has to do with the medicine dosage. Like, that, if I drew a red flag, like, let's say, we met people in that time who did not meet you, who have never met the person that is Gene Holden. They met this fucking psycho that they didn't know.
Who?
Just there are some people that we've met.
Yeah.
In the last, couple weeks, essentially, who just really have not met you because you were out of your mind.
Yeah. But what caused me to get that way?
I think it was a doubling up of the estrogen and lack of other medications.
But there's something this is what I'm thinking, there's something in the estrogen that's not bodily made.
And here's the other thing.
Stupid word?
I think that all of you, I think everybody, every individual is different, and body chemistry is weird.
But I know, but if you're ingesting estrogen is different than your body making it.
Yeah, I don't.
So there's a different thing
I
going on.
don't know.
That's what's going on.
Well, whatever the case may be.
But depression is real during this time.
Hang on.
Anxiety is real.
Yeah. But the real thing that was going on is once you double dosed, you went.
No, the double dose was not good.
You went stratosphere.
No.
You went into behavior that once you started, you weren't even aware,
right,
or control your own antisocial behavior.
And the only reason why I can accept that now is because I'm medicated.
Yeah, because
when he was telling me that before, I got mad.
Oh yeah, she'd get more mad. She'd get more upset that how dare we suggest that the estrogen or whatever that menopause was the cause. You were like a drug addict who was like in denial about the fucking thing that was causing the problem, trying to make it everything else.
When we went to the doctor yesterday, it was Scott and Cameron and me.
Yeah, it was like because it was like you have no idea, folks. It was like a family intervention the night before.
We talked and talked and talked and talked, and then he turned his chair around. He said, we don't really see this very often. And we're like, what? He's like, the whole family coming. And then I just started crying. I said, there's something to say.
That's because it was simple. It was because we were there to support you.
But how many people don't have that? How many people don't have somebody?
But anyway, and because here's another reason. I'll be honest with you. At the time, I needed Cameron there because I was afraid if you started to spin out of control or just go into denial and say that I was crazy or whatever the fuck in the office, I needed a witness. It was sort of like in AA, you never rescue anybody alone. That's kind of what it was like. It was like.
Did you think I was going to do that?
I was worried. I was concerned, and I didn't know how you were going to behave. So.
How did I behave?
2 was more important than 1.
How did I behave?
Fine. Ultimately.
I told him I needed help. I told him right in his face.
Yeah.
I looked him right in his eyes and I said, I need counseling.
Yeah, you were, Gene, the truth was, at that point you were ready. And then once
I needed to
once the medication kicked in, you were lucid. So anyway, we get there. We're in Atlantic Highlands, which is a good hour away from our home, and so if shit goes crazy, you're far away. And instantly, it started with she got there, we got in some fight, and she jumped out of the car saying, "I want a divorce," and go fuck yourself, and blah 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 blah, and go home. That was the big thing. That was the big push. Go home. And the whole thing was, I knew what was going on. She wants me to go home so that now she has an excuse for why the whole world shit on her and why blah, 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 I'm the worst person in the world and blah, 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 blah. But I also knew that this woman was not behaving rationally in any way, shape, or form based on things she was saying, things she was doing, and just cruel and heartless behavior. That was the best way to sum it up. You were just cruel. You were just being cruel.
I was.
And it's just, none of this is you.
No, none of it.
I've known you since 1990.
Right.
This was like, literally, who the fuck is this person?
And people listening, even people that have met me and are listeners, know that I'm not at all like that.
Yeah, this was like
I'm usually
extremely bad behavior,
bad
antisocial
and embarrassing
behavior.
too.
And so then she'd jump out of the car, and then I just sat in the car. And at one point, so we're text fighting, and I don't even know what to do at this point. And I'm at my wit's end, so I'm like, maybe if I bring in a third party, she'll behave. So I actually text our news girl, Danielle Ryan, and start saying, like, in a three-way, I'm like, Jean has jumped out of the car. She's threatening to divorce me. She wants me to leave this Kevin Smith show. I don't know what the fuck to do. Please help. I'm like, I was just trying to bring some neutrality or some like sense to everything, and that just made you more angry because now I'm introducing someone else in their problems. And because the truth is, you were being a little shit and didn't want anyone to know.
I didn't even realize fucking half the shit I was doing.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm telling you honestly.
But that was really it.
Like an
because
excuse.
You kept getting mad anytime it got escalated and I had to bring in other people. You just got mad.
Because I was getting...
Because your behavior was being exposed. And you were getting pissed off of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fucked
I
up.
agree with all
you
of
were
guys.
Another fucking person. It was insane. So anyway, so all that happened. Then, like, I don't know what else to do. I'm like, you're like, you can't come into the show with me. I don't want you sitting next to me.
I don't
blah,
remember
blah, blah,
saying
blah,
that.
blah. Yeah, you did all kind. You texted.
See, now this is what I mean. I'm not saying that I didn't say it. I don't remember.
No.
So I totally am going
Not that I would post the text, but I have them and stuff.
But I am going with that I said it.
Yeah, you did.
Because I deleted my texts in a rage.
I
blocked you, too. You didn't notice that?
No.
Yeah, but then I unblocked you back.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I might have noticed that at one moment.
Yeah, because then I'm like, fuck you. I'm just going to delete everything.
Yeah, because she thought she was deleting it from my end. As if I didn't have the evidence anymore. But anyway, of this insane behavior that was going on.
It's not even Gene. I'm telling you, it was
Jezebel.
This is the
truth, guys.
That was my Jezebel
Gene,
coming out.
Whatever you want to call it. It was fucking... I have never been in more personal fear for both you, our marriage, and just everything.
For our lives?
Not our lives, but just for... our relationship.
Right.
I've never been and your mental state, because I was like, I was flabbergasted, and there's also a part of you going like, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Did I do this somehow? What did I do? Like you start second guessing a lot of shit, and you wonder if you're the only one experiencing it. But thank God, like later, consulting, like I said, I had to escalate. Consulting my family, like I'm not the only one who was seeing all this strange and erratic behavior. And other behavior that was going on was like a lot of muttering, a lot of like self-performance behavior.
So now what were your parents saying?
They just noticed that your behavior was not...
Was I being mean to them?
You weren't behaving yourself. They didn't put a finger on it. That's they kept it very vague.
Right.
But, but they agreed, that you weren't yourself, and they were worried and scared too.
Oh, good. So they were worried about me.
Yeah, of course. No, they just weren't. And they were also worried that, how are things going to function? you know, with you in this state.
I know.
You know, because at that very point, we've gone beyond. We were beyond normal. You know, we were beyond we were institutional.
Oh, come on.
I mean, but it was weird, Gene. You were not.
Institutional is a little far.
You were spitting your gum at your son.
On the dresser. I didn't spit it at him.
At us.
I know, of
it
course.
only landed on the dresser.
Of course it was at
it
you.
only landed on the dresser. Get it? You spit it at us.
I know.
I spit it at the dresser. You didn't spit it at the dresser. You spit it at us. It landed at the dresser. You were in a corner. You were yelling and screaming, and you spit your gum at us.
I did.
That was like point of order. You know, so don't please. We saw all this craziness. You were not you. You were some fucking out-of-body creature. Anyway, yeah, folks out there, things happen in life like this. You know, this is about a true chemical imbalance brought on by surgery and all that kind of shit, right? Mm-hmm. So that night I'm there. Let's go back to that night so now I've contacted Danny. It was like at some point she's like, "Dude, I'm out. I hope you guys can figure this out, but I'm really worried." And I was like, "I am too. I have no idea what's going on. So I hope we can figure this out." And then, since you told me I couldn't come in the show, I'm like, "What do I do?" And then I'm saying, I'm texting Kevin, going, "Kevin, I'm like, fucking, I don't know what's going on. My wife is going crazy. She wants to divorce me. We're in some kind of crazy fight. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to get in the show. I don't know why I'm texting you." But I'm just, distraught and heartbroken, and my whole world is falling apart here. Of course, I didn't hear back from Kevin. So then you're, online or something. And I go up to you, and you even accused me of manipulating to get the ticket, which was the wristband. That's why I came out and talked to you in public. What? You were like, "You're here in public because you know I'm going to have to behave," or whatever. You were like that. That's why you're coming and talking to me.
I was saying you're in public to embarrass me, just like I embarrass you.
No, I was there to get the wristband. And I was also there. And yes, I was manipulating the situation so you couldn't be an asshole. So you'd give me the wristband. And then I also wanted to see, how crazy you still were. So I started... are you going to get in the car? Are you going to come home? Do you want to talk? Blah, blah, blah. And you were just being mean. And that's when you threatened all kinds of, deep secrets and stuff at me. And
that's another thing. I do not remember that.
At that moment...
But that's got to be true.
At that moment, I was like, I'm really concerned. Because this is abnormal behavior that is vicious and malicious in nature.
And that's almost...
and it's on a public... we're in a public line. There's people all around us. It was weird and disturbing.
Totally,
and that was the point where I
took
my wristband, I went into the car, and then I didn't bother you again. And all you did was text at me. And I was like, I'm not responding anymore because I just had nothing else to say. The behavior had gone off the deep end at that point. And you kept telling me that the only thing you wanted me to do was to leave. And I was like, okay, leave you in Atlantic Highlands with no way home. You're like, I'll take an Uber. An hour ride in an Uber. Do you know what that would cost?
$150, I noticed.
It was just crazy. Everything was crazy. So, you were just behaving crazy. And, at every moment where I would think that, you'd catch sanity.
When was that?
In the past, there were moments where you would...
Oh, I mean, I thought you meant Sunday.
No. In the past, there would be moments we would someone would fucking, have a moment of clarity. You would have a moment of clarity. There was no moment of clarity. Every moment of clarity was even worse.
I had a couple when I was sitting there.
But none with me.
When I was sitting there watching Kevin.
So,
it wasn't...
Anyway, so it was so weird. So finally the show time, and actually... The only thing I did that was, not utterly depressing was I gave stickers out to everyone online at one point.
Where was the seat you were sitting in inside?
I didn't see it in any seat.
You stood there in the back?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that was a seat back there.
Well, eventually I sat in a seat that no one ever sat in. It was like a folding chair.
Yeah, well, that's good. You were kind of like...
Eventually I did. But most of the time, first half of the show I stood.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah.
Was Malcolm there?
I don't know who was there. Who was Gene? This was like the worst.
I know. No one knows
tell you the
who
truth,
was there.
I didn't. I don't think I heard much of what Kevin said, and I was there. You know, and I knew most of it. I had heard back at Caroline's.
Yeah.
You know, I had heard a lot of those stories already. So
I was just sobbing.
And, and I was just in a bad way until the Bruce Springsteen story. I hadn't heard. You know, I had heard everything. I had basically heard almost everything you talked about.
Bruce Springsteen. Anyway, I don't want to spoil it for anybody. Go ahead.
All right. So, but before the show starts, I'm sorry about this nasal tone. It's bugging the shit out of me.
There's nothing really you can do about it.
I know. So Kevin's up there. Well, I mean, so I'm up there in the corner because you were like, "Don't sit next to me," blah blah blah.
God, I don't remember.
So I'm up in the corner, like in the rear, basically by the door. If you came in, I was on the left side in the corner in the hallway. The hallway.
And our seats are on the other side.
And they were great seats. They were like
second row.
Second row. And
oh my God, I couldn't believe our seats.
But then, so the show is starting, and Kevin basically, like there's a lot of flashing of flashlights, and Kevin kind of steps in. Now, there's a garbage can directly behind me, so he steps in essentially to the side of that garbage can.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just kind of waiting there for him to warm up. And there's no way I could not notice that he just entered the area, because he enters the area and you just smell Kevin. And, there's always a lot of
Kevin vibes going on.
People, and I turned and he looked at me and he's somber. Like he corrected like his look. He's like, "How you doing?" He asked me first. And I was just like, "Jean hates me. She wants a divorce. I'm brokenhearted. I'm having the worst night of my life. Blah, 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 blah." And he said, "Yeah, I saw your texts. I'm really sorry, man. But this is going to pass. You guys will get through this." And I said, "Thanks." I said, "Didn't feel like it." I said, "Thanks." But then I was just there. I was like, pretty sure I was sobbing at that point.
Yeah.
And then the rest of his security came in.
Because you were talking a long time, and they wanted to...
A minute or two. And well, the rest of his security then started to funnel in. And just by security, I mean, like, his friends and acquaintances, and the people at the event.
Was there anybody you knew?
I don't remember, really.
It was too much
I just remember there being people.
Yeah.
And someone must have asked if they wanted to get rid of me.
Oh, because you were kind of in the way or whatever.
Yeah. Or who I was. And I heard Kevin say, he said, "He's a friend of mine, and he's having, he and his wife are having a rough time, and they're both here, and he's just standing here to let things cool down and give him a break. He's a good guy." But basically, he was his friend.
I know, right?
Yeah, so then he went up. I mean, eventually he got called up, and he went on stage and did the show. And like I said, I don't know that I heard a thing. I know that you spent most of your time in the second row. I think you thought I left, too.
No.
Because at one point you saw me and you're like, "I thought you left."
Yeah, but then I knew you were there the rest of the time. I just sobbed the whole time. He probably saw me. He doesn't really look at the crowd many times, but he did kind of glance over and kind of scans. He looked at his mom a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, his mom was there.
Oh, my God.
So
That's
anyway.
a whole different story. That's crazy.
It was just... So then the show ends, and then Kevin actually gets off stage, and I kind of saluted him on his way out. I don't want to hold him up or anything. And he said, "Hey, feel better."
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Yeah, he singled me out on the way out the door.
Feel better.
"Hey, man, feel better."
It's like when he says, "God bless you."
Yeah, and, I've actually sent a few updates to him. Just, I don't know that... I think he cares, so he would like to know. And I also told him we'd be talking about it today, because for some weird reason I sort of dragged him into it, and, well...
Yeah, but he didn't know, like, what was causing it, or...
Yeah.
And I don't think he really cared. He just wanted it to be okay.
Yeah.
And it's, in his way, sending us his good thoughts, because he knows that we're... I mean, he has stuff with Jen, too. I mean, people have problems.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's all... I mean... And he never goes into the ins and outs of it, but he's, he'll say that he's had a fight with Jen.
He had to cancel a couple gigs because of, he said, family issues.
I mean,
I don't know what that means, but hey.
Yeah, shit happens.
Yeah. So,
and come on, Kevin can piss somebody off.
So, I wish I could say that, wow, after this crazy night, after the show was over, Gene and I, like, just mended fences and everything worked out. But no, that's not what happened. Guys. Like, when, she did... Like, it was weird because she was out of her mind still. And, like, I felt awful because it felt like we snubbed a couple of fellow...
Yeah, that'll be taken care of.
Yeah, like there were... I'm so sorry. I can't remember the name of the woman.
There's a young lady from California.
Woman from California and a woman from Philly.
I know.
And a woman from Philly that, like... Under normal circumstances, I'm sure we would have fucking had a great time talking and maybe even gone and done something afterwards.
Yeah.
But the fact
Exchange numbers, talked about the show.
But the fact that, like, it was just so nuts. And, like, the antisocialness and the craziness just kept right on rolling. That at one point, after we just said hi, it was just like, I want to get the fuck out of here because this is going to be embarrassing. So then we jumped in the car, drove home. It was like midnight, and then you were like, I'm not staying here. I'm like, well, I wish you would. And then you took off. And this is the truth. Like, so you told me you were going to a hotel, but, like, I don't know what was going on. And I fell asleep at some point because of the stress. At some point, I just couldn't take it anymore. I fell asleep. My phone died. And then, so the next morning when I plugged my phone in I see a bunch of texts come through, and they are all worrisome. Like, you don't have a hotel room, you do have a, just craziness. And that's, as of that moment, you were missing. You know what I mean? You were a missing person. And I have never been that scared in my life as that moment, because I had no idea where you were. The kids hadn't heard from you. Your family, like your father or mother hadn't heard from you. Like no one had heard no one had heard from you. So you were essentially missing, and that scared the fucking shit out of me. And for all I knew, you could have been dead in a hotel room or whatever the fuck. I mean, I don't know what was going on. So it was a new low.
No, I just fell asleep.
Yeah, I'm sure, but we didn't know that.
It was an expensive. Stupid thing, but I mean, what happened?
Yeah, and then you went and you wanted to meet me at Dunkin' Donuts, and now I'm thinking, like, finally, she's come
to her senses.
Yeah, and we can talk this out like rational people. And as soon as I got there, I was like shocked because first of all, my first response, like even text wise, is, "Oh my God, you're okay," and you were like obnoxious from the start.
How was I obnoxious?
I don't remember. I can pull up the text and show
you. I agree.
But it's
Believe
not
me.
because, like, you weren't. It was like, "Oh my God, you're alive," and then you had some obnoxious response.
Listen, this is what
like saying how you put up with me all the time.
But listen,
it was always like a weird false equivalency.
But listen, guys, now, like a lot of this, I'm not saying I don't remember to get it out of it. I'm saying I don't remember, but what comes after that is I know what you're saying is right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm agreeing with what you're saying, even though I don't remember, because this whatever was happening.
You weren't really lucid.
Was like overpowering the real
thought process.
Oh my God.
The real you. But hang on, don't go into a tweet.
No,
Cousin Johnny Cakes. Yes. Well, anyway, forget Cousin Johnny Cakes for a minute. So then, okay. So she was missing, and really, long story short at this point was, the family compared notes. We realized that Jean has not been acting normal, and that something needed to be done. So when she finally came home, we had essentially what was like a family intervention on a drug addict, but it wasn't a drug addict. She was just like some sort of estrogen monster, or like, I don't know what it was, but, hormonal monster. And she finally, like, the weight of everybody sort of coming down and saying, no, it's not just that. It's all of us. We all think you're acting like a fucking nutbag, essentially. I'm cutting through the mustard. And we think you need help. We got to see the doctor. Something's going on with you.
Well, now instead
of finally
saying,
like crack the denial that you'd been.
Instead of taking that as you're trying to help me, it was almost like you're telling me there's something wrong with me. So now I'm trying to defend.
You were always doing that. You were always trying to turn the problem on everyone else.
Right.
Like it wasn't. But and the irony of it all is, isn't it great to have an excuse? I mean, This isn't you. That's what everyone was so pissed off at.
I know, but
this was not your. We know you. We know you longer than
I
your behavior since November, and this is not you.
I just feel
you may have your moments. Everybody's a bitch. Everybody can be an asshole from time to time. But this was fucking crazy.
Well, and that's what was happening too. Like the medicine was making me like, you know how you go, all right, if you don't have a healthy argument with someone, you're going to push that shit down. So what happens is with this medicine, shit that bothered me was started to come out like in unhealthy ways. So now this is something that, you know,
everything bothered you that wasn't your way. Everything. That was the problem.
Everything bothered
Gene, you were just not sensible. No. You were not yourself. It was psycho.
No.
It was like some sort of manic state.
It scared me.
Yeah. You were doing.
My heart was racing.
You were doing
really
a lot
fast.
of Donald Trump stuff, you know, like doubling down and fucking and being insulting and you know not admitting you were wrong and all that shit. It's so funny because the irony was you hate that guy and you were behaving like him to a T.
I don't like hearing that at all.
Oh my God, it's scary.
I hate hearing that.
After the intervention. The next day, next morning.
It was an intervention. Who was it? You, me, and the kids.
Yeah, and next morning we went and next morning we went and talked to our doctor.
Yeah, I know, but that wasn't the night before. We promised that it was a whole thing.
We don't need to go into every detail about what. But basically, you said you agreed. Yes, something is definitely going wrong here.
Right. So
and yes, you're right. I do need to get help.
Yeah,
and I can't believe I've been behaving this way.
Yeah.
And so we went to the doctor the next day, and new medicines and all that shit.
Yeah. And a therapist when she calls.
And by the end of the day, I mean, I will say you were lucid again.
Felt better.
Yeah, you were lucid.
Yeah.
You understood what the fuck was going on.
Yeah, it's going to take a little bit to adjust to all these, a little bit. But that's be right.
Yeah, but that's life.
Oh, I know.
But you're on the mend. Which you haven't been more. You haven't been this yourself in months, so I'm already very hopeful for our future.
I am too. I apologize to anyone if I came off as a bitch, but I don't know. Nobody really.
No, it's weird because that was what was so weird. Like every time you had to interact with someone who wasn't me or the family, you would fake it.
But maybe that's okay. I don't know because I trust you guys and you love me. I don't know. Maybe. See, this is work to me, so I'm not going to, bust all on everybody. I love you guys.
Yeah.
This is work, and I want you to guys have fun and be entertained. I don't want to, to tell you to fuck off when I have a hot flash. I love you guys.
Well, hopefully now, the way things are, everything's been readjusted and rejiggered. All your formulas.
Oh, my formulas.
And, I mean, again, you already seem to be more yourself than you were. Like, certainly 3 days ago.
Yeah.
But even 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And it sucks because, and there were just some issues that got complicated because of this along the way. Just interactions with other people. Again, there's people who haven't met you yet because all they met was some psycho. Anyway, because, like, anything you told those people was essentially a filter of, like, bullshit.
Yeah.
Of your own hormonal craziness and anger and resentment and
anxiety,
the muttering and all kind of this inner monologue that she was constantly on stage and announced and breaking the third wall.
Dude,
it was so odd.
I'm muttering. Like,
I mean, I do that every now and then, but usually it's show related.
No, but muttering, like if you just like,
a lot of passive aggressive stuff. I want you to hear that I'm saying something, but I don't want you to hear the specifics of what I'm saying, just to annoy you. Yeah, shit like that. It was nuts. It was, oh boy. Whew. The only upside has been the show's been pretty consistently good during this period. So
it has been.
Hopefully that won't stop.
I hope this one's good.
Well, this will be different. It's definitely a different episode. But I think what we're saying is, we had if anyone out there was kind of wondering what the fuck was going on, or even if you're at that show and was wondering what the fuck was going on, we've been having a rough time here, but it looks like we finally turned a corner.
Yeah, and if you do feel weird, like if you're, a girl and you had that done and you're feeling weird, call your doctor.
Or
if you're a family member that noticing the person's acting weird, call the doctor.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I needed my family to fucking tell me.
If you're going through menopause, if you're going through any kind of those hormonal situations.
And
please.
don't put, say menopause is only for old people, because it's not.
Yeah.
Young women have
because of medical things. Yeah.
They have their ovaries removed because because your period hurts.
Or cystic, or because of cysts and
any
stuff like
reason.
That. Yeah.
Just, it's,
life is complicated, people.
Right. And the other thing is you don't have to suffer alone. So try to find a friend to talk to, and they'll help you.
So we're really sorry that this episode, 1, is going out so late. 2 is so weird and self-reflective.
Sorry, it's very lame.
It's not lame. This is very important because this is for, this is real life shit.
It is real life.
This is real life, real people.
Right.
Things aren't always perfect. And we're kind
of
on a happy end. I mean, we're certainly in a good place now.
I want it to be something to help people.
We're through the fucking shit.
I wanted it to help people because just because you have this doesn't mean it's over.
And here's the other thing I'll say. There was shit that was said during this fucking episode that cut deeply.
Oh, my God.
And then I know I'm okay now. I may be mad in an hour.
I know.
And then I may be okay again, but that's how the healing process works.
I know.
But here's what I am so glad. Like I said this morning, I am so glad to have you back again.
I'm so glad too. Isn't it? It's
my God,
miraculous.
I lost
change.
My best friend, and it's so nice to have you back and lucid and thinking clearly again.
I feel kind of lucid right now,
and
not tired.
Spinning up. Well, that's fine, but not spinning up and going like, oh my, because you just were. I mean, it was scary because it felt like you were unreachable. And like maybe you were never going to come back from this. Maybe you were this person now. Maybe you did hate me. Maybe you did, have all these like horrible feelings towards me. I don't know.
I mean, you make me mad sometimes, but I don't have a permanent anger towards you.
Yeah, same here.
That's, so anything I said was false. I mean, I
Again,
love you.
You're my best friend since 1990, pretty much. So.
I know. Like, why would I ever throw that away? Yeah. That's like throwing my life away.
Throw my best friend away. So, folks.
So that's
people have problems. If you're a couple out there and you have weird moments, if you've gone through anything like this has been a very heavy show, very personal show.
That's our love story, guys.
It's another chapter in our crazy love story.
We could write a book. Seriously.
And we share this again. We share this in hopes that it helps people,
right?
And you can get through stuff, even the craziest stuff.
And
I really do chalk this up to this was a medical. Physical,
really
physiological, medical style emergency.
It really was.
I think if you hadn't doubled your dose, I don't know if we would have gotten here
as quick,
as fast, or as whatever. But yeah, I mean, I certainly think that was what sent you from borderline crazy to absolute nutso.
Right.
That's when you couldn't find the moment of clarity anymore.
No.
It was just
it was very hyper.
There was no moment of pause to realize, oh shit.
No, because
I'm angry, right?
Everything was hyper there, and it was no stopping it.
Yeah, it just
I couldn't even explain it.
Yeah, you were on a treadmill of insanity.
It was very manic, and I'm so not like that. If anything, I'm more of a chill person. I'm not manic at all.
Again, and that's what everybody, when we all talked behind your back, if you will, that's what everybody.
Did your parents hear me muttering?
That's what everybody kept.
They had to.
I don't know. That's what everybody kept coming back to. It's this behavior this is not her. Something is off, and this is something that needs to be resolved.
And almost like a Tourette syndrome thing came upon me.
No, it was you were just fucking nuts. You were behaving nuts. You
were
behaving manic. You were
the medication I'm on is supposed to help.
Yes, and it already seems to be.
It does. And
you were on a couple things. Some things, helped shake things instantly, and other things are more long term.
Yeah, and there's some things I'm going to have to adjust to because it makes me sleepy a little bit.
It's going to be time. So
yeah.
But the good news is we're on the mend.
We're on the mend.
And the other big thing is, part of the hardest thing about solving a problem is acknowledging it exists. And you were in that place.
That was the first step.
You just did not want to acknowledge.
Admitting.
Yeah, you didn't want to acknowledge that it was your hormonal situation.
Well,
that was
see,
causing
now
this problem.
I do, since I was in Alcoholics Anonymous for years.
Yes.
The first step.
Yeah, yes, you're still.
Admitted we were powerless over whatever the fuck's going on.
Yeah, you
and
weren't. You weren't getting there.
And my life had become unmanageable.
You were not getting there at all.
Right?
It was scary. It was
but
weird.
look at when you get there, what happens?
Oh,
then the solutions.
Then you become open to solutions.
See, but that's the thing. If you
and you weren't getting there, and that was what was making everybody worried.
But once you get there, it seems to kind of fall into place. So if you can admit that you have a problem and you have support, because you know what, guys, if you can find someone, I don't know, I love my kids, but I've never been so amazed and grateful and like unbelievably like overwhelmed with my family. They're so amazing. My kids.
Again, I'm just
very
happy to have you back.
I'm still an emotional person.
Much more.
The medicine doesn't take that away.
No, but
I cry a lot.
You're much more yourself today than you were.
And
3 days ago, a day ago.
Sunday night, all I sat was there and cried, watching Kevin. And then he talked about Bruce Springsteen. I'm not going to spoil it, and I look over at Grace. Can I tell you, the woman just like, she's so enamored by him and so proud of him. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Hopefully, we'll get Miss Grace on the show soon.
Yes, and that's a cool thing to look forward to.
Yes, and hopefully we'll get Cousin Johnny Cakes on again soon.
Cousin Johnny Cakes for sure.
He was awesome.
He's
over the weekend.
The best, and Ernie.
Yes, Ernie was cool too. We saw him.
Yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned we saw him. I think we did because we were like, we were talking with Ernie.
Yeah. And there are a couple of fans. Like there's a couple of artists, a fan or two that we want to
I think our followers have gone up as a direct result of all the stickers. So.
Yeah. So guys, if there's someone that you're like, cool, get this dude on the show, let us know. Because maybe there's somebody that's was there that day and we never got to chat with.
Oh, sorry for the yawn, folks.
Because there seems to be a lot
of... I want to get this crazy show out soon.
Yeah, so let's crazy show out. So do you want to end?
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Right.
For those of you out there...
I hope this isn't your first show.
Yeah, I hope this is your first show. Fuck.
Go back to the one before this one.
Yeah, or at least a few.
Yeah.
Well, the first half of this show is actually pretty fun and positive. Yeah. It's just, it took a turn. And that's just like life. But, if no one else has told you today that you're smart and good, please allow us to say you're smart and good. And thanks for putting up with us.
Yes.
And from here on out, we hope you'll hear a lighter tone in what it is we're doing.
Yes, and take care of yourselves and each other.
Yes. And much love to Danny, who, yes, we didn't do the Spedlines this week, but she'll be back next week. And we may even get a little bit of her insight from a third party as to what the hell she thought was going on.
Yes, and thank you, Danny.
She's wonderful.
We love you.
Yeah, she's like a best bud now.
You're my sister from Georgia.
Yes. All right.
Love you, baby.
Until next week, thank you very much, and you're smart and good.
Bye, guys.
See you next week.
Love you.
Bye.
Smiling, praying for some faith. Thoughts are drifting through my mind and filling it with fear. Is there something else out there, and just why are we here? Then I see the world will turn, and we must be its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, dawn comes, we must reply. Powers from our mother earth, they'll blow us to our knees. While our souls do bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Reading moments one by one and smirking like a thief. Sleeping through another night and deepening our peace. Genesis and matter's wake is coming from our sun. Living in this very moment for this moment's done. But now I see the dawn will come and we are all its guide. Crazy dreams and nonsense schemes, the Godhead in the skies. Powers from our Mother Earth, it's all we'll ever be. All our souls to bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. Join another person's eyes, we worship at our shrine. Bursting flowers into bloom, there's no such thing as time. Powers from our Mother Earth will blow us to our knees. Twisting, turning, minds are burning, join us if you please. And now I see that I am just beginning its demise. Flashing bits of comic light that vanish from the skies. Powers from our Mother Earth is all we'll ever be. All our souls to bind as one, come join us if you please, if you please. If you please. If you please.
There he is. It's that man standing over Blood Alley Square, protecting us all. Go get him, that man.